each other in the regional championship the last couple of years as well, which only heightens that intensity. Tonight's forecast brought to you by NOPEC. It is a Chamber of Commerce day. I don't even think there's a hint of a cloud anywhere in the sky in Avon tonight. 70 degrees, just a little bit of a breeze. It is extremely comfortable, no humidity. Boy, man, this is as good as it gets. So you've got the Avon Lake Shoremen, who are coming to their neighbors to the south, playing in a venue here that, it hasn't necessarily been kind to them, because you think about some of these games they've had in recent years, narrow, gut-wrenching defeats, including a couple last year that were both by 3 points. The walk-off field goal to win a playoff game for Avon last year. There's two different ways to look at this. You got big brother and little brother. And right now, Avon has played the big brother role.
Well, that's always what happens when one team appears to continue to get the edge year in and year out. And let's not forget, last year when they played in week one, it was a field goal game decided in double overtime. And I can tell you, it's not just the players, it's not the coaches that field, it's the communities. About an hour and a half before the game, you look up in the stands, and they were about 75% full on the Avon side. They know that getting a seat is slim pickings when these two are in town. And so that intensity permeates throughout everybody here in the stadium.
That's a nice way of saying, hey, I parked about a mile away and walked here. This place is packed. We are excited and ready to go. You've got Avon Lake in white, and in all black tonight, the Avon Eagles. A couple of good kickers, by the way, on both teams. Owen Wiley will drill this one for the Shoremen.
I don't think we have to worry about kick returns too much in this game because of one there. And just as I say it, Wiley bounces one at about the 10-yard line.
Week 4 in the OHSAA underway as Avon takes it up the far side. It's Ethan Holbrook who darts out of bounds to give this Eagles offense a start. We talked about him right off the top. Sam DiTilio leading an Avon Eagles team that is 2 wins and 1 loss on the season. Their one loss was to Medina, who is guided by not just one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Ohio, but Drew Aller, a Penn State commit, is absolutely right now one of the best quarterbacks in the United States at the prep level. So losing to Medina is nothing to shake your head at. This Avon team has started to come around, and I know DiTilio is excited for this game.
Yeah, listen, state championships aren't won in week 2, but that experience can help you get there. That's what Avon got by playing Medina. Quick handoff early to Coffey.
Coffey goes to his right. First down carry of 11 yards, and Jacorian Coffey picks up a first down on the first play from scrimmage. Set the offensive line for you for Avon Lake. They're going to be a focal point tonight. Left tackle is Dylan Hergenroder. Left guard, Owen Byrne. Center is Michael Dertuzos. Right guard is Abe Dagabouche. And Luke Hamilton, the right tackle. Keep your eye on those guys up front.
You earned it, Brendan. You earned it with that starting lineup there. There's no John Smiths.
Caffey through the middle. Caffey into open space, and he's up to the 35.
Well, that offensive line you just identified should be having the spotlight on them after that run by Caffey, because the left side, Hergenroder, Byrne, and Dertuzos, the center, collapsed the Avon Lake defense. And look at Caffey slipping through the hole. You can see the blocking. And then into the second and third level, ultimately. Nice tackle at the back end, or else Caffey's putting an early 6 points on the board for Avon.
23 yards there. It's his 4th carry this season of 15 or more. Add another one. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Eagles, the Jacarian Caffey Show.
Three carries, 6 points, Jacorian Caffey. And credit that offensive line for moving the Shoremen, their defensive front 7, out of the way. Caffey untouched and into the end zone. And you could not script a better beginning for the Avon Eagles.
So Jacorian Caffey, the sophomore running back, with a fantastic opening drive. He did it all by himself. Eagles bang through the extra point, and with 10:55 left in the first quarter, Avon has opened this game exactly as they intended. An opening score. Get another look here at this Pretty impressive opening drive.
It's just a great block by the center, Michael Dertuzos, and the right guard, Ig Dagabush. They opened it up. Ja'Cory Caffey right through the middle. The speed gets him into the end zone. And Avon Lake starts on their heels. Brendan, this is a defense that only allows 53 yards per game to the opposing offense rushing. In one series, Avon has surpassed that.
And while some of that I think Caffey deserves some credit for, there's a reason we introduced the offensive line so quickly before even some of the other skill position players. The Avon Eagles are so good up front that most times they play these last few years, they've dominated the line of scrimmage, and if you want to beat them, you've got to find a way to control that line.
They're so physical, and they're big. The left tackle is only 6'2", 212, but you know, the rest of them are up 250 and above. And more importantly than that, not only physical, they've got some size, but they can move their feet. And that time, they were moving the Shoremen all over the field. Coach Kostelnik, they've got to figure out what to do defensively up front, because that is going to be a long night. Vakos.
They almost put it through the uprights.
Well, we mentioned Nathaniel Vakos and Owen Wiley. These are not just two of the best kickers in the state, they're two of the best kickers in the country. Vakos has a 45-yarder, Wiley has a 50-yarder, and the 45-yarder would have been good from 60. It was an incredible kick.
The young guys with great legs that have had good starts to the 2021 campaign. And so the touchback brings out the Shoremen offense, and in case they had not been locked in, this is go time. They are, for the second consecutive game, using Jake DePaul as their starting quarterback. Does not appear, at least at the outset, that Jeremy Zick, their week 1 and week 2 starter, is available right now.
And that means we're going to see a run-heavy offense, and DePaul keeps it.
First play goes for 6, almost 7 yards. Call it second down and 4. Before we get too far in, Ryan, how about your keys to the game, brought to you by Joyce Buick GMC.
Do you have one of those green check mark emojis? We're going to need it. For Avon Lake, protect the football. They've had some problems with turnovers. And for Avon Eagles, get out that green check mark, establish the run. I think they've done that through one series.
Shoremen have it on 2nd and 4.
In fairness, that said something totally different before that drive. I had him change it.
Fumble. Still loose.
And I think Stewie got it. I think Matthew Stewie caught it off the bounce. And right on cue with the keys, protect the football, and then they put it on the ground.
At the moment, you're kind of feeling like the guy looking into the crystal ball. What's going to happen here on 3rd down and short?
I don't know. Well, look at that hit. Coming in off the edge. Nice play defensively by Amin Abdul to punch it out, and Matthew Stewie was the recipient of a nice bounce for the Shoremen. Well, look, it's a passing down. Jake DePaul only threw it 11 times in the last game. He's not a passing quarterback. In fact, he normally starts at H-back.
DePaul is going to run it here. Needs the 30, has that and more. DePaul gets crunched pretty good by Eli Vactor, but not before DePaul could pick up the first down and give the Shoremen a chance to move the chains.
So that's the threat for Jake DePaul. And I'm sure Coach Mike Elder and his defense was looking across the sideline to see which quarterback was going to come out into the huddle. And when you see Jake DePaul, he's electric. He's only 5'9", 165 pounds, but he is very good running the football. 18 rushes for 129 yards last week as the quarterback. So even when they drop back to pass, the focal point for Avon should be the run.
As you mentioned, only 7 of 11 through the air. This time he hands it off. Jason Krakowski, who is the team's top running back option, tackled by Amin Abdul. Not much of a gain, if any at all. Second down coming.
Well, big number 73 is making an impact on the left side of the defensive front for Avon. And that is, so you've got Amin Abdul, Graham McDougall in the middle, and then Austin Mitchell. They're running a 3-4 so far. You know, when you're running a 3-4, Brendan, and the 3 are making the tackles, that's a sign of a good defensive front. They're supposed to occupy, keep the linebackers clean, and let them make the tackles. Abdul didn't get that memo, and there he is again. Amin Abdul coming off the edge. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a Gavin Earnhardt.
It was Gavin Earnhardt flying off the left-hand side. It's a loss of almost 2 full yards and sets up 3rd down and 12. get the impression with the way Avon is playing on both sides of the ball that they are controlling the line of scrimmage early in the game. And when Avon Lake right now has a quarterback in there who primarily is running the football, it's going to make it a little bit more challenging on that group up front for the Shoremen.
Well, and you could see on that play, second down, where they're anticipating run. Avon brings pressure, they blitz the run, they get home with Gavin Earnhardt.
Stewie is split out wide to the left. He's the best target for Avon Lake so far on the year. DePaul needs to run to the 44. Cuts it back in, he's got it. Third down and 12, he picks up 13, and a Shoreman first down.
He's exciting as Jake DePaul gets to the outside, and that's, I don't know if that's a limp or that is just a little swag from Jake DePaul as he comes back to the huddle, but if it's swag, he deserves it. That was a heck of a run, digging the Shoreman out of a hole. Third and 12, what do you get, about 12 and a half, Brendan? Take a look at this, right off the right edge. And just setting up his block there on the outside and then knowing where the sticks are, getting down and getting that first down yardage.
The senior safety, Ryan Tadek, had a
fumble
tough time
again.
getting him, and now a fumble. The Shoremen appear to have jumped back on top of it. I think it was ripped away. Avon takes over. How about these Eagles? Picked up by Anthony Trenick.
There was a blitz off the edge. You're going to see coming off the edge here, there's number 6 coming. And it is not, just as soon as the running back gets the football, he gets smacked. I believe it was Krakowski. But when it's not a threat to pass, you can do that. And that's what Avon's doing. You see now, especially on first and second downs where they're expecting run, they're bringing pressure.
That's a really good defensive play by Jackson Blodgett, blowing it up in the backfield there. Now the Avon Eagles take over, first down and 10 from the Avon Lake 33. Again, the tailback is Jacorian Caffey.
See if they take a shot here, Brendan. It's a turnover around the 30.
Caffey carried it every play the first drive. A little better defensive effort this time around from Avon Lake. Caden Peters, the first one to get him. Short gain of 2, second and 8 coming.
Well, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Keep giving the ball to Ja'Cory Caffey. It's 4 carries on 4 plays.
Avon Lake with a couple of wide receiver options out wide to the left. Ethan Holbrook is out wide left. Tim Conwell, who caught 3 first-half touchdowns last week, lined up in the slot. Little play action. Looking over the middle. Deep and into coverage. It is tipped, almost caught, and then dropped. Looking for Ryan Tachik. Broke it up. Good job by Keegan Ruddick. 3rd and 8.
This ball hangs just a little bit too long. DeTilio puts it there, but look at Keenan Ruddick just extends the hand, and then Tachek actually had a play on the ball, unable to bring it down. Not an easy catch, but again, had an opportunity to catch the football there.
Plenty of time here, 3rd down and 8. A screen to the right-hand side, and Conwell gets drilled. Tim Conwell caught it and immediately went backwards, a loss of 2. Fabulous defense by the Shoremen, and now Avon's in a pretty tough spot.
They are not. They would be. Most teams are in no man's land. This is called easy money for Nathan Vakos, Nathaniel Vakos. That's I was waiting for. This is what, a 50-yarder, a little over 50. I called it easy money. I'm giving him a little bit too much credit.
I was going to say 50 yards, easy money. That's a bold strategy.
We might be looking at the best kicker in high school in the country, and let's see if Vakos has it in him.
The holder is Matt Fisher. High snap. Vakos into it and over end. It's got enough distance, and it is good. Vakos buries one from 50 and gets the Eagle faithful out of their seats.
Dare I say, easy money for Nathaniel Vakos. It's like a layup, Brendan.
You know, it's fun when you see specialists like field goal kickers, punters do special things because it's so rare, especially at this level. As advertised, Vekos.
Well, and let's just put this in perspective here, right? Because Vekos gets all the spotlight. He deserves it for sure. They just capitalized off a turnover. If they don't do that, Avon Lake gets away with it. And how often do you see high school football games decided by teams that capitalize on turnovers from the other side?
You have to make them pay. You have to make them earn it. And that's exactly what you do. Credit Avon Lake, because here's what happened. They had a stand. They got him 3 and out off the field, actually made him lose back, and you still put points on the board, and that's the importance of that.
Vekos will tee it up, enjoying his moment in the sun. I guess that's a little tongue-in-cheek because he's truly in the shadows on this perfect night. It's not often in a high school football game that the kicker is going to have maybe a little bold around his name on the scouting report, but this guy is putting on a show as he cracks one through the back of the end zone on the fly. So Vekos with his second touchback kicked. The Shoremen have their work cut out for them. 10-0 Avon here, middle of the first.
One name I want to make sure we acknowledge was the job of Matt Fisher, the holder. You called it, Brendan. It was a high snap, and he got it down. And first of all, for extra points, for 25-yard field goals, the timing from the snap to the hold to the kick has to be pristine. It becomes even more vital on a 50-yarder, and Matt Fisher kept his kicker, Nathaniel Vekos, on track.
Once again, Jake DePaul, the quarterback, with Jason Krakowski in the pistol behind him. This time a loaded formation to the right. Avon Lake basically saying, hey, we're going to run it this way with all of these bodies in front of us, try to stop us. Pick up a 5 for Krakowski, 2nd down and 5. And maybe, Ryan, that's what the Shoreman team needs, just to have a better numbers advantage wherever they're moving the ball.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look, they're going to be very run-heavy. And when the other team knows what you're going to do, you're going to have to do some creative things to create that mathematical advantage. I always say football, it just comes down to numbers. If you have one more than them, you should be able to get some yards. We talked about first down yardage and how important that is to Coach Kostalnik. He got 5 there. That's above what he wants, which is 4 on first down.
Krakowski got another opportunity. Dove ahead before being tackled by Cole Peonessa. He was just a little bit short. Inside a yard, call it 3rd down and short here from about the 29-yard line.
It's a good push from this Avon Lake offensive line. Hunter McHugh, Youssef, Abdu Ahmadeh, Braden Quigley, Joe Lubertozzi, Brady Scheidwalker. Both teams got together and said, we're going to pick the 10 most difficult names to pronounce and start them on the line. It's a good push by that offensive line.
Well done by Avon Lake there, picking up the yard that they need. In fact, I think they got 2. So another first down for the Shoremen. This was similar to the last drive, right? They got a first down on the ground on a 3rd down carry, but different in the sense that it was 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and 12, where DePaul took matters into his own hands.
And I think they converted twice on 3rd down the first one, because DePaul, remember, he ran, it looked like a pass. They haven't put the ball in the air, but twice they've dropped back as if to pass, and Jake DePaul had other plans. So perhaps 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions.
Isaac Richardson wide out to the left-hand side, but another handoff to Krakowski. Good job by the linebacking core that time. Trevor Norman sniffed him out. Yet he got more than maybe a few inches.
Yeah, they've got some linebackers. We've already seen Gavin Earnhardt make a play in the backfield. Trevor Norman there. Blodgett, of course, with that football separating tackle, which led to the turnover, which led to the 50-yard field goal.
If you're Avon Lake, at what point, knowing what Avon's done here these first couple of series, at what point do you feel like you have to change your game plan a little bit because you've gone down on the road early?
Well, not yet. I mean, they got to stick to what they're doing.
DePaul finds an open target. This is Nathan Schillinger way up the right-hand side. And on a little dump play to the tight end, Avon Lake picks up nearly 20 yards.
This is great. You just drag the tight end across the formation, get him, you get a downfield block, and that's a 6'4", 250-pound big man rumbling down the sidelines. Nathan Schillinger, those are the types of matchups he wants. He wants to be the big guy, the center, going up against some point guards in the defensive backfield where he can bounce off them and make them pay for one and bring them down. Nice run after the catch by Schillinger.
Undersold that a little bit. It's actually a gain of 26. First down carry this time for Sam Fetters. Positive yardage, keeps his head down low. Picks up, looks like 6 yards. Second down and 4 now from the Avon Lake 37. First 2 plays now of the game that are on the Avon side of the field. The Shoremen certainly feeling good about where this offensive series is going.
And they should be, because now they're, even though they're mostly run, they're mixing it up. They're getting other backs involved. They're using Jake DePaul. They're throwing the short passes to give him some passing confidence. It's very evident that DePaul is a fantastic athlete. He was one of Zick's favorite targets as he tries to put it up again.
Oh, he's looking down the field. Stewie is covered. Stewie caught it anyways. Oh, are you kidding me? Matthew Stewie from 37 yards.
And that's how you high point the football, going up over top the defender and then winning the battle of grip strength. Matthew Stewie keeping his feet. He was behind it. The ball was slightly underthrown. But when you have a good receiver like Matthew Stewie, he makes those slight errors seem like nothing. And he actually turned that pass into a touchdown. Matthew Stewie, 4th touchdown pass in 4 games, and he's not done.
The extra point bangs off the very top of the right upright. No good from Owen Wiley.
And we talked about the snap and the hold. The holder got the ball down, but that, and take a look at this first. Look at the job. First of all, DePaul buys himself some time. Look at Stewie go up, high point it, and essentially takes the ball away from Chase Myers. Look at the athleticism. Looks down at his feet, makes sure he's in, coasts into the end zone for the Shoremen. Just throw it up to number 84. Good things will happen. But the snap on the extra point skipped off the ground, and I talked about that timing on the the field goal. That's the difference between making it and missing it for a kicker like Owen Wiley.
So Matthew Stewie comes up with a really important touchdown reception. That was a little bit clunky in terms of the drive, right? It took a little while, some plays that were just tough, hard-fought yards, but also a couple of really meaningful conversions, certainly on 3rd down. And then, hey, when you have a guy who just goes up and makes a play, that's exactly what you need when you're on the road. It's got to be some punch and counter-punch, right, in a rivalry game. And so Avon Lake has swung back, and now we got a ball game.
They just want to keep it close. I will tell you this, though. As from my, and we'll see if they try and kick it into the end zone, or they, it wasn't a pooch last time, but he landed at about the 10-yard line.
On the way to Holbrook. Ethan looking to his left, finds a lane. Across the 30, nearly 35-yard line. Good field position for the Eagles here to start this drive late in the first.
What I was going to say before that kick is, as you look at how this game is playing out, though, and I know that Avon Lake just got Avon off 3 and out in the last one, but it's almost as if every first down Avon Lake is converting. They're working 2-3 times as hard as Avon to do it. They're barely hanging on. Jake DePaul's making a tremendous individual effort to get to the first down yardage. So
might that be the way Avon Lake needs to play this game now? Keep the clock moving.
Well, sure, but I'm just, in those moments, it's how many times can you do that? How many times are you going to convert 3rd and 12 with a quarterback who's breaking, playing, flipping the script and playing backyard football?
DeTilio throws over the middle where Austin Mitchell got leveled after not hanging on. Good defensive play there from Jamie Herron, the safety.
I like the play call. That ball a little bit off target by DeTilio. If he puts that on the numbers, now you're looking at a safety trying to bring down a 240-pound tight end. But he's outstretched too high.
2nd and 10 from the 34. 10-6 ball game late in the first quarter. Joined us a little late. I'm Brendan Gulick with Ryan Kavanaugh. This is not surprising to see Avon go back to Jacorian Caffey, who single-handedly ran the ball every yard in the opening drive, including a touchdown run from over 30 yards away. Started this game with an exclamation point for the host Eagles.
Only a sophomore, Ja'Cory Caffey, already coming into tonight, averages over 8 yards a carry.
A pretty disciplined game so far, but an encroachment foul right over the nose tackle. At least from the near side referee. Gives us an opportunity to acknowledge our officials this evening. The referee is Joseph Rebelli. John Rock, the umpire. Philip Arnold, the linesman. Line judge is Eric Foysel. David Calderwood is the back judge this evening. Appreciate their work in week 4 of the high school football season. Little shimmy behind the line, and DeTilio made something happen out of it. Picked up 7 to set up 2nd and 3. Brock Buchanan to stop.
DeTilio did a nice job of stepping out of some tackles, avoiding some of the defenders from Avon Lake. It didn't seem like a 6-yard carry there by DeTilio, but that's what it was.
Evan Earhart. Just on the plus side of midfield, Earhart, the new running back. This is into the backfield. They're ruling it a fumble. Avon Lake with the clear recovery. The Avon Lake Shoremen have come up with an absolutely enormous game-changing play. Jamie Herron picks it up.
Well, whether it's a fumble or it's a backwards pass, it still went backwards, so it's a fumble regardless. But the ball clearly slipped out of his hand. This is going to be a great angle. If that's a pass, it's a backwards pass, so it's still a live ball. And take a look, Jamie Herron picks it up. This is a linebacker with the football. Look at that ball. Just slipped out of his hands, and watch Herron as he's running. He's actually going to look in and then initiate contact. Take on Conwell himself.
I love looking at all the fans on the near sides all looking at each other and using their arms as if to say, well, did it slip? Did he throw it? Should that have come back?
Yeah, but either way.
Sheer confusion, but you're right. It slipped out of his hand, and he was throwing it backwards with the direction he stood.
Yeah.
Tough break. Certainly wasn't his intention. And now all of a sudden, even though Avon has the lead, the final play of the first quarter as the Avon Lake Shoremen knocking on the door of the red zone. When we come back for the start of the second quarter, and it just might be the Shoremen who have the momentum in this contest. You never expect a game between these two teams to be a blowout, so the fast start by Avon may be a bit of a mirage. Shoremen charging here as we go through one and into the second. Come on back in just a moment, Spectrum News 1.
Weather and the sky has always fascinated me, and I live with what I do. I come home, look at the weather forecast, and it's really a part of my life. It's not just a job, it is my passion.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Eric Elwell.
We have a very experienced weather team, and we know what's important to Ohioans as they make their plans every day because we are part of the community. I'm Eric Elwell, Chief Meteorologist, Spectrum News 1.
Spectrum Mobile is a better way to mobile. Customers who've tried the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator and switched see significant monthly savings. In 3 easy steps, the calculator will show you which plans best fit your data needs and how much you'll save by switching. By mixing and matching our by the gig and unlimited plans, you'll only be paying for the data you use. And every plan includes nationwide 5G. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today at spectrummobile.com/save.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Start the second quarter. The Avon Eagles 10, the Avon Lake Shoremen 6. Two teams that are extremely familiar with each other. They have played a competitive game so far, no surprise there.
Pretty good run there by the quarterback, Jake DePaul. It's been very impressive thus far. You know what? Jake DePaul is just a gamer. He's created plays. He's gone off script. Again, he's the backup quarterback, but he starts on the offense. He is, at least through the first 2 games when Jeremy Zick was available, he was his his favorite target through the stat sheet. So he's an integral part of the offense. Now the problem is when Zick is out, you essentially lose 2 starters because you're losing your quarterback and then you're losing Jake DePaul from his starting spot.
Let's go flying everywhere. We've had a pretty disciplined game so far. After an early encroachment foul on Avon Lake, now they commit a false start. They take what was a 3rd and manageable 4 yards to 3rd and 9 outside the red zone here. Every yard certainly valuable, especially considering Avon Lake hit an extra point off the upright last time. I know they've got a lot of confidence in Owen Wiley, but still don't want to make life more difficult on yourself than you have to. Plus, after missing that extra point now, a field goal isn't as useful. Play clock's all the way down to 2. Shoremen get it off in time. DePaul feeling some heat, and he goes down. Very well done by the nose tackle, Graham McDougall. A sack on 3rd and long. And now the Shoremen are in trouble.
Well, he was engaged with the center, Braden Quigley. Take a look at number 78. And then as he comes off, left hand free, makes the sack. What a terrific play by the big fella, Graham McDougall.
Jeremy Broush will hold. Owen Wiley attempting a 45-yarder. Again, he hit one from 50 earlier this year, so he's got a good leg. He's got to get past the mental block of missing an extra point. Wiley into it. It's got the distance. And it is good. The kickers flexing their muscles here in Avon.
This is incredible. We have 95 yards worth of field goals, and we're just a minute into the 2nd quarter. What a terrific, terrific display of special teams. This time, Owen Wiley answers, and if you're keeping track at home, Wiley's got 2 45-yard field goals, or a 45 and a 50. And Vacos on the year has a 45 and a 50. These two are good friends. They train together in the offseason. They know each other very well. They've gone to camps together. They have the same kicking coach. And right now, they are mano-a-mano in a duel for supremacy in the state of Ohio for field goal kicking.
What a start to this rivalry game. Tell you what, we've had some, maybe some unforeseen drama, but drama nonetheless. And at the end of the day, not at all surprised that, you know, the game is tight. And again, just to further punctuate that point, remember, if you're perhaps watching at home and you're not from one of these two communities, last year when both these two teams met, a double overtime week 1 performance decided by a field goal, and a walk-off game winner in the regional final, essentially the version of the Elite 8 in the state playoffs, for Avon's Nathaniel Vacos to send them to the state semis again. Unfortunately, they couldn't get past Archbishop Hoban. Eagles hoping that maybe this is a chance. They got to bounce back on top of it. Both of these two teams have been a bit sloppy. Now all of a sudden the Shoremen say they've got it, and they do. Are you kidding me? Avon Lake. A fabulous effort by Jeremy Santiago.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. It's Ryan Tachak who's running, and he just loses the football. It looked as if one of the Shoremen might have put a hand on it, and then here it looks like Tachak has it. And Santiago somehow comes out of the pile with the football. Let's take a look from this angle and see what we can pick up. We're gonna see the back of Tachak, but you can tell he doesn't have the football at that point. And Santiago comes up with it, and they have flipped the field again. Brandon, before that kick, I was about to say, what are we going to see next? Because we're getting a little bit of everything. As you said, it's 10-9. It's not exactly the way you expected it to be for how we got to this point. And I have a feeling we're just getting started.
Well, we've got a timeout on the field here. It's called by the offense. Actually, I beg your pardon, called by Avon. Avon calls timeout. The Eagles lead the game 10-9, but after scoring the game's first touchdown on, what was it, a 4 or 5 play drive to open the game, I'm not sure much has gone Avon's way at all the rest of the way. Yes, they hit a 50-yard field goal, and that should be celebrated, but they kind of did that because the drive stalled.
I don't think they've picked up a first down since then. This has been a collection of errors lately for the Eagles. And it's not often you see a kick returner drop the football. It's not often the ball slips out of the quarterback's hands and goes 20 yards in the wrong direction.
Well, while the weather in Ohio may be unpredictable, you can always count on weather on the ones. Latest forecast always less than 10 minutes away. Our accurate and experienced team of meteorologists have the latest forecast, insight, and perspective you can trust every 10 minutes and continuously during severe weather. You can count on weather on the ones only on Spectrum News 1. Isaac Dotson with the carry for the Avon Lake Shoremen.
He did a nice job bouncing off of a couple defenders, and Matt Kostelnik told us we're going to see Sam Fetters, Jason Krukowski, and Isaac Dotson. He said to what extent, I don't know, they'll all run the ball, and true to his word, they've all run it, and there's still 9 minutes left in the second quarter. And you see Krukowski back in, Dotson offset to the left, and Fetters offset to the right of the quarterback. So got 4 people in the backfield. Look at that, Fetters still up.
Got to find a way to wrap him up. Fetters coughed the ball up. I believe it stays with Avon Lake, although Avon is certainly jumping up and down and barking on the near sideline. The Eagles did not pick that one back.
And I think they rule. Let's see when the ball comes out.
They still got it there, right?
Yeah. Or does he? He doesn't. I don't know that the officials saw it come out.
Well, Avon Lake will take it.
We didn't. We have a replay in front of us.
3rd down and 3, and they bunch everybody up in the I formation. Give it to the fullback, and maybe Rugby scrum it far enough. We'll have to see the spot, but I think he may have gotten it.
Well, he slipped out to the top side. It looks like that is...
That's Broush. Jeremy Broush does pick up the first down. Boy, he looked like he might have gone 1 yard and been done with it, but he wouldn't give up on the play and rolled to the left to get the first down.
Yeah, he deserves a pat on the helmet for that run. Broush with a bit, and again, Avon Lake, it's like they're right on the edge, and then they somehow break through to get the first down. It's
1 touchdown, 1 field goal both ways here. The difference in the game, a missed extra point. Avon Lake got a touchdown from Matthew Stewie. Avon in the opening drive scored thanks to their running back, Jacorian Caffey. Nowhere to go for the Shoremen that time. Carried by Krukowski, tackled by Amin Abdul, 2nd and 11.
He is having a game, is number 73 for the Eagles. Keep an eye on Stewie. You wonder if they're going to, although they're in field goal range again, Brendan, and in a 1-point game, you're down by 1, do they want to risk throwing the ball? Taking nothing away from quarterback Jake DePaul, but
Paul making his 2nd straight start. Throws a fade ball left-hand side. It is... Oh my goodness, they gave him the catch. Matthew Stewie with a great catch. I thought he bobbled it when he came down, but he must have scooped underneath it.
Look at the adjustment as he realizes not only is the ball underthrown, but it's underthrown inside of him. So he's going to have to find a way to work through the defender. And watch how he comes underneath, uses his body.
No way.
That was Joe Weatherspoon.
Lucky break for the Shoremen, that's for sure. They will take it.
Joe Weatherspoon was on coverage. Stewie.
DePaul hands it off. Krukowski. Short. Not yet into the end zone. 2nd and goal from the 1 upcoming. Hey, look, make no apologies if you're a Shoremen fan. You've lost 4 in a row. This team has been the only one you can't seem to get past. They are your next door neighbors. Sometimes you need Lady Luck on your side.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're the Shoreman and Lady Luck knocks at the front door, you're opening it. You're not telling her to leave.
We're approaching the 6-minute mark here in the second quarter. Avon Lake, after going down 7-0 and then 10-0, got a chance to maybe take the lead.
7-man front.
DePaul pushing. DePaul is in. The Shoremen are out front.
Jake DePaul, the quarterback, with some help from his friends, pushing him into the end zone against a 7-man defensive front of Avon. And the Eagles and the Eagle faithful are shocked right now, as bad break after bad break in Avon Lake, as we talked about earlier, Brendan. They take turnovers and they turn them into points, and that's where it stands right now. And they're not going to start chasing points yet.
We got a flag down. The extra point attempt will have to be redone. Let's figure out who the foul is on. A false start. Let's go back up 5 yards and try it again. Avon Lake. What do you think about choosing to go up with an extra point here to keep it a 6-point game instead of trying to go for 2 this early in the game? Do you like it? Do you not?
I like what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it might be too early to chase points, especially with the field goal kickers you have, because sure, they make it, and then, you know, you have to consider Nathaniel Vakos. A 5-point game, you know, you got to look at getting 6 and saying this may come down to a field goal. And why do I think it may come down to a field goal? Because it almost always does when these two teams play.
Well, if history is any precursor, that is certainly the case. We've got a good one going on right now in Avon. You know, there's an element of, if you step back for just a moment, you kind of look around, you soak in this atmosphere with these kids having so much fun, both on the field, but obviously they're in the student sections as well. As a country, we're approaching tomorrow the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. Everything we've been through as a community and as a nation with the coronavirus pandemic, there is something that is a little slice of Americana about a high school football game with 2 communities that support each other as passionately and as fervently as Avon and Avon Lake do. It's a nice taste of normalcy for the meantime, and I know these kids have certainly enjoyed the challenges that have come through getting back to this level and competing for what they hope might be another championship.
And as much as I would like to say something really insightful to add to that, there's nothing more that I could say. You nailed it, Brendan.
Avon Lake does its job. And here comes the Avon offense. Okay, time for them to throw a counterpunch. After knocking Avon Lake down early, it's been the Eagles who've been on their heels stumbling backwards. You know, this Avon Eagle offense has a lot of talent, a lot of balance. They've got a great quarterback in DeTilio, and they use that offensive line really effectively in the opening drive. Let's see maybe if they go back to a steady dose of Ja'Cory and Caffey here. Plenty of time in the second quarter. First play is a handoff to Caffey, and it's sniffed out quickly. Nathan Schillinger, the defensive lineman, came around off the left end and made a tackle. A short gain, 2nd and 8.
Avon Lake had to make some adjustments on the defensive front, particularly after that first drive, and they are. They're bringing more pressure. They're bringing guys off the edge, and I look for Avon to go to the play action. Those linebackers are coming up. The ends are crashing in, and there's the play action. Nope, gave it to Caffey.
Caffey with nowhere to go. Not a whole lot of push there from the left tackle, Dylan Hergenroder. Avon Lake tackle came from Nelson Connor. They have lost a yard on the play, set up 3rd down and 9.
Momentum's a crazy thing, especially when you're talking about high school kids. And all the momentum is on the opposite sideline with the Shoremen. This defensive front is standing up. They look completely different than what we saw earlier.
How interesting is this? The tackles have switched sides on this play. Screen pass back to the left. Sniffed out perfectly. Austin Mitchell caught it, but Avon Lake must have seen film of that play somewhere along the way. Sam Fetters was waiting for him, and Avon goes 3 and out offensively.
That's called reading your keys. This is exactly what a linebacker does when he's playing to that side and you see linemen pulling to the side. Take a look. Everybody lets him in and the linemen are coming up, so what he does is reads it and he goes over to the screen man. When you chuck once and you release as an offensive lineman and then they start getting out in front of the screen, the linebacker reads it, gets over there with block punt.
Vakos has it blocked. The Avon Lake Shoremen are running away with it. Pearden Pepe, touchdown.
Unbelievable. There were 3 Shoremen at the foot of Nathaniel Vakos. They block it. Bounces right into the arms of Pearden Pepe. And they have pushed this lead to 12. Extra point pending. The shock coming from the neighboring town, Avon Lake. The Shoremen brought it to this stadium, and it has overtaken Mark Wahlberg Field. What a performance in this half. The second quarter has been all Avon Lake.
23 unanswered points for the visiting Shoremen, who are sick and tired of being pushed around by Avon in recent years. And this Shoremen squad is getting it done in all phases.
Beautiful job laying out for the punt. And then you see Pepe catches it, jogs right into the end zone. What an effort. What an effort from the Shoremen.
If I'd have told you when it was 10-0 Avon that we'd be at this juncture with still 4 minutes left in the first half, Avon Lake having scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal, would you have believed it?
No, I would not. But at this point, now going forward, you could tell me virtually anything and I will believe that it's possible. And remember, Brendan, it's not too soon. 4 minutes in this half. Avon Lake gets the second half kick.
Lights are beginning to take effect on this gorgeous night. 66 degrees at the moment. Again, it could not be any more comfortable.
Unless you're an Avon Eagle. Very uncomfortable right now.
All of a sudden, those metal bleachers that are cooling off outside are starting to feel a little bit warmer, a little squirmy. Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. And so the Eagles need to regroup here. On top of the poor special teams execution, that last offensive series might be overlooked a bit. It wasn't very good. The offensive line has got to get it figured out.
It just looks like 2 completely different units from what we saw the first time. They were manhandling the front of Avon Lake, and now get it figured out is a good way to put it. But Coach Elder, you know, if he can get to halftime, this is a coach and a team, a program who have been in these battles. They will make the adjustments. But right now, 4 minutes seems 4 hours away.
Tilio with the stretch handoff to Tommy Tachek.
And it's just, the Avon Lake is all over. It looks like there's 12, 13 people in white uniforms. They have Avon, they're beating them inside the tackles. They have them flanked on both sides. Screenplays aren't working. The passes aren't working. Jet sweeps aren't working. Right now, Avon Lake has the Avon offense figured out.
DeTilio. Well, it never got back to the line of scrimmage, but there was a receiver in the area, so no intentional grounding there. And it brings up now 3rd down and 11.
And DeTilio's starting to feel some pressure that may not be there. He was, you know, when you start feeling pressure, he's, you know, he took himself to the sideline where actually another defender was able to come off of a good block and go get him. Probably wants to slide up in the pocket if he starts feeling pressure like that.
Flag comes out. And the Shoremen shoot themselves in the foot there.
Second encroachment tonight. Last one gave Avon a first down.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this first half. Avon has all 3 timeouts. Avon Lake burned one earlier. They've got 2 remaining. DeTilio with time. He's hit from behind and sacked. Boy, it continues to be a frustrating night for Dylan Hergenroder, who couldn't hold the block again. Avery Viancourt that time, the one to drop him for the loss. And Avon has to punt.
If you want to find a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback, you're looking at him. Avery Viancourt. That is his 5th sack of the season. He came in tonight with 8 pressures. And look at the motor. He's working on that right defensive end. He stays with him. And as he gets past, it's Hergenroder on the left side there. I'm sorry, left tackle, Hergenroder. And Viancourt goes the long route, but is able to get DeTilio from the blind side.
Ryan, you're a former quarterback. Maybe I'm asking an impossible question here, but if you're DeTilio and over the last now 15 plus minutes of gameplay, you haven't exactly been able to sit comfortably in the pocket and go through your progressions. Is there an element, do you think, of a quarterback at this level who, when the pocket breaks down, sometimes you freeze a little bit because you're not exactly sure, should I tuck it? And I don't know where to go with it.
Yeah, well, you could see that. There's hesitation going on here. And it's also, one thing that starts happening is you start feeling pressure that's not there. And you start anticipating it, and then you're waiting for the pressure to get to you. And now you're frozen in the pocket instead of being loose and looking through those progressions.
A little different punt formation here, more max protect with 3 guys that are going to try and give Vacos more time to boot it away. It's a gorgeous punt. Kurakowski fields it on a hop. It takes a gaggle of Eagles to bring him down at the 37-yard line. Avon Lake, by the way, the one that burned the timeout, not Avon. So the Shoremen are down to 1 timeout with the ball. 2:36 to play. Remember, Avon Lake starts the second half with the football. And they have the Eagle faithful right now. A lot of purple and gold on this near side stands looking at each other going, wait a second, this isn't what we had in mind. It's been a long time since the Shoremen lost a game that wasn't against this Avon Eagles team.
Yeah, November 9th, 2018. That was the last time they lost a game. This is the 27th game they have played since they last lost to somebody other than the Avon Eagles. That was Toledo Central Catholic. That was the 2nd round of the playoffs, and since then they've been perfect, other than their rivals across the sideline now.
It's an interesting time to play this game, too, because we've seen it early in the season. We've obviously seen it in the playoffs, but now a regular season meeting in week 4. Both teams have a chance to get in a little bit of a rhythm. It's just a little different for a rivalry game, but Coach Kostelnik in particular told us, hey, honestly, I kind of love playing it week 4.
Yep. There's some pressure.
Paul has to run to the left-hand side. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. And Avon burns a timeout, stopping the clock with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9 after the stoppage.
Yeah, and they're bringing Blodgett off the edge, their linebacker. Avon, you know, it's interesting. They've kind of traded turns. Who's going to be the aggressor? Who's going to come forward? Who's going to sit back?
Dear Ohio, Curtis Jackson is writing to tell you about the podcast he hosts that's dedicated to you. Few states encompass everything our nation is about, and this podcast is the place to explore your significant role in shaping America. Each week, he'll dissect challenging issues through our eyes with the hope these conversations inform and empower our communities. Dear Ohio with Curtis Jackson, new episodes every Wednesday. 1 minute, 45 seconds remaining in our first half. With Ryan Cavanaugh, I'm Brendan Gulick. Avon and Avon Lake. This is a game when you basically get the composite schedule of all the high school football games across the Northeast Ohio region. Doesn't matter what division. This is one of those games right away that you immediately say, okay, when are the Shoremen and the Eagles playing? Because that one has really meant something recently.
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, I was texting with a good friend of mine, Matt Ridgway, who's a big high school football fan. And he said, what game are you doing? And I told him, he said, yeah, that's one of the ones I circled at the beginning of the year. So you're absolutely right, Brendan. People who know that this is a destinations type game.
Well, it's a good play by Chase Myers to make the tackle. Jason Krakowski was lined up as a wildcat there. I don't believe Jake DePaul was on the field for that play, even though there was a timeout called, and DePaul could have come back into the game. He did not line up at quarterback that time. And now Avon Lake is faced with 4th down and 1 from the 46-yard line. Avon has 2 timeouts left. I would have to think if you're Avon Lake, you've got the lead, you get the ball first to start the second half. Is it too conservative of a thought that just to try to make the field as long as you can on the Eagles, who have no mojo right now?
I don't think it's conservative at all. I think it's the right call. I mean, if anything, it would be extremely risky to do this. You know, especially with the kicker that they have in Vacos. You're looking at a 13-point lead. You're 10 yards away from the guy being in field goal territory. And as I say that, they bring the offense back out on the field.
Well, DePaul is going to line up under center. Maybe they're going to try a hard count. They've got that timeout. You never know. This could be a really critical play.
Everybody at the line of scrimmage. I don't think they're gonna snap it. You might be right, Brendan.
8 seconds.
They might even take
timeout.
Are they called the timeout? Yep.
Coach Kostelnik was standing right next to that far official and signaled timeout with the play clock hit 1. Might as well try.
Sure, why not?
So with $1:36 to go, Avon Lake burns their final timeout of the half. We'd like to remind you that you can take Spectrum News 1 with you wherever you go. Do what over 1 million other users have done. Download the Spectrum News app on your favorite device or tablet. You can get the latest news and weather and watch the live stream 24/7. Go to SpectrumNewsApp.com to learn more about the app. Download it if you haven't already. A lot of highlights in this game so far, including a game-opening touchdown by Avon running back Jacorian Caffey. And Avon Lake's first touchdown was a bit of a highlight reel play. A solid wide receiver, Matthew Stewie. Avon takes the punt. They will take over 1st and 10 from reasonable field position. With 1:30 to go, the Eagles have 1 timeout at their disposal. And as you've mentioned several times, Vacos has a big leg. The flag right now, well off to the left-hand side of the field, couldn't be hanging more limp. There's basically no wind as a factor right now. Considering you hit from 50 already, I like your chances if you can at least get to roughly the 33-yard line. That would mean Avon's got to move the football a good 30 to 35 yards here. Do the Eagles have that in store right now? I'm not sure they've had 30 or 35 yards of offense their last few series combined. Tilio wanted to throw, instead tucks it and runs.
Well, they're going to get Fetters for a blindside block.
He's down at the 37-yard line.
I'm sorry, I said Fetters. I meant Austin Mitchell.
It is an illegal block. Here's a look at it.
Take a look at number 1. Here he is, Austin Mitchell. Head's on the wrong side of the shoulder pad. And that was, fortunately, you know, it's like putting your hand in the cookie jar and you close the door and your mom is standing right there. That official couldn't have been closer to the action.
You're like, you sound like you've had some experience with that.
Recently?
No, hey, I don't know.
I mean, my life, certainly.
Jacorian Caffey lines up in the backfield. You wonder now if Avon in a precarious spot, knowing that Avon Lake can't stop the clock. Perhaps the Eagles just try and get into the locker room clean. Getting onto the football. Good job at the defensive line now. I'll tell you what, this is all of a sudden, this game is so much different. Brock Buchanan went swarming in, so did Nilson Connor. I mean, I can't understate enough the difference in the opening series of the game and the push that Avon had up front. And ever since then, Avon Lake is having their way on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is the defense I was expecting. This is the defense that has held three teams to an average of 53 yards a game on the ground. Datillo taking a shot.
2nd and 21. He throws a long play up. That's intercepted. What a lucky break. Pearden Pepe tipped the ball, had a great pass breakup looking for Holbrook, and the ball literally fell down into his lap.
If it's possible for the ball to bounce Avon Lake's way, it will. And that's what happened here. First of all, let's talk about the coverage. Pearden Pepe running step for step for Holbrook. Looks like it's a little bit underthrown. He's under duress. And actually, it's a pretty good ball. And look at this. Lands in between his legs, catches it. That, no doubt that's a reception. Interception, rather.
Pepe, of course, scored the touchdown on the blocked punt earlier, and now comes up with one of the interceptions he'll tell his kids and grandkids about. On 1st and 10, a throw to the outside, and hey, if you're Avon Lake right now, I know you don't have any timeouts, but you should really be thinking about trying to figure out a way to get a chance to kick a field goal before the gun.
Well, we spoke with Coach Kostalnik this week, and I said, if the game's on the line, where does the ball? And he said, well, he kicked a 45. I said, well, I know that, but how far will you run? And he said, what Owen, he says, if my kicker, I say, what are you comfortable at?
Well, remember the great story. He said the special teams coach was like, wait a second, how far? And then he buries the kick.
Yeah, he said, oh, no, he's good to go. He said he's going to do it, and then as they're jogging out, you know.
Ooh, that's a little longer than I thought. Sometimes you appreciate talent when it surprises you a bit. DePaul pumps, rolls and throws out of bounds, looking for Stewie. 24 seconds, 3rd and 5 coming.
Yeah, that's Coach Marsala, and he said that he's always, and that particular Coach Marsala is so important on the sidelines for Matt Kostalnik. He says he's always in my ear. He's super detailed. He knows everything. And then he looked out and said, "Wow, I didn't know it was that long."
I love it.
But the answer to that question now is it becomes important, because where do you need to get the football to send Wiley out there, and let's see if he can get one. Obviously, right now we're looking at a 60-yarder, probably a little far. Maybe not.
Get it off in time. DePaul has plenty of time to step into a throw. It's caught. Stewie's got it up to the 11-yard line. He bobbled it for a moment and then regathered himself. Avon Lake plenty of time to clock it here. And the Shoremen still have time to run a play before even considering a field goal.
Take a look at this catch. So they lose Stewie down the seam. Oh, he just caught it. I thought it might have hit a defender's foot and popped up, but Stewie stays with it. And by the way, the difficulty of that catch is astounding, because he's running and reaching over and double catching it.
And on top of that, he's got the defender at the last second, running through his line of vision. Really nice play by Stewie. That's twice now. He's made ridiculous catches in this first half.
Yeah.
Do the Shoremen take a shot at the end zone?
Well, I think they have to with 12 seconds. They don't have any timeouts.
Looking Stewie's way. He's got it. Avon Lake. 29 unanswered points.
And it looked like the defender may have fallen down. I think it was Joe Witherspoon on coverage. We'll see it again. But Matthew Stewie, what a terrific receiver, using his hands, going and getting the football. And what a shock this is in Avon, Ohio. Not that Avon Lake isn't capable of doing this. It's just that they're doing it to Avon.
Extra point is good. They were down 10-0 after 2 defensive series in the first quarter. And all Avon Lake has done since then is pound their crosstown rivals.
And you see that, a little slippage. It was Chase Myers on the coverage. And as Chase Myers tried to turn back to look at the football, he slipped a little bit, and Stewie saw it the whole way. Easy catch for the big fella. Have a day, young man. This guy could make me look like a good quarterback. Just throw it in the catch radius of the big fella. He'll go get it.
He's got 2 of Avon Lake's 4 touchdowns in this first half. Again, 30 points, but they've got 4 touchdowns with a missed extra point and a 45-yard field goal. Avon has about a 30 to 35-yard touchdown run from Caffey in the first series, and then a 50-yard field goal from Vacos. We've seen quite a bit of offense here in the first half for 2 teams that pride themselves on what they do defensively.
Yeah, this has been a tiring half for you and I. We're not even out on the field. There's so much action going on, and we gotta mention Pearden Pepe and his circus interception, which set up that touchdown. And as you mentioned earlier, it's taking turnovers and turning them into points.
This is a bit entertaining because I'm pretty sure Ethan Holbrook had his knee on the ground right back around the 10-yard line. But instead they didn't rule him down, and he takes it another 20 yards. There are still 4 seconds left.
Do they take a knee and go into the locker room and regroup? Alex Alvarez is coming in the game, number 4. He's on the depth chart as the backup tight end. He's 6'2". We'll see if they're bringing in some height to try and throw a jump ball. Find out where number 4 lines up, or is he just coming in to pass protect?
DeTilio. Those 3 wide receivers, including Braden Fitchko, lined out way out on the right. Hand off to Caffey. Avon Lake doesn't really care how many yards he picks up as long as he doesn't get into the end zone. That play will end the first half. Holy smokes, has this game swung in a direction we did not see midway through the first quarter. Avon took a 10-0 lead and looked like they just might have the upper hand for a 5th season in a row. Avon Lake, sick and tired of being pushed around, puts up 30 unanswered points, including a blocked punt, but they returned for a touchdown. And while we still have a second half to play, the Eagles are the ones that have a mighty big hole to dig out of.
Well, there's going to be a lot going on in both locker rooms during this halftime. Number 1, when you look at these guys in white, Coach Kostelnik is going to tell them we are nowhere near over with because we know what's across the sideline and what's going on in that locker room. Keep them focused. They've got another half. And for Coach Mike Elder, him and the Brain Trust, they're going to get together. It's X's and O's, and it's where's your heart and where's your head, because you need to get your head in the game, you got to play with your heart, and you got to listen to the adjustments that the coaching staff's going to make. Here's the highlight of the first half for me. We got another one coming up.
Amen to that. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the latest headlines and weather from Spectrum News 1 studios. We'll also recognize this week's OHSAA Scholar Athletes and take a look at some of the first half highlights and stats. That's all in our halftime report. We'll take a break here locally from Avon, where the Avon Lake Shoremen have a 30-10 lead over Avon Eagles. Back in just a bit, here from Avon on Spectrum News 1.
Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
It doesn't feel like a job to me. journalism is my passion. I started out as an actress and singer, which is the typical way to get into broadcasting. Whether it's journalism, singing, acting, writing, it's all about storytelling. I guess I fell in love with news because it's the real story of us. It's the real story of community. I'm Mary Lee Melendez, anchor reporter, Spectrum News 1.
This one device is going to change everything. Gaming, entertainment, streaming, health, business. It will literally change how you experience the world. Welcome to the future.
Without the right connection, you've got nothing.
And now give you the future. No, I don't. Maybe the future's over here. Here we go. Nope.
That's why Spectrum Mobile delivers the most reliable service and nationwide 5G, so you're covered.
Oh, sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
Spectrum News 1 is your trusted resource for local, up-to-date news, weather forecasts, and information. Now we're offering all of that wherever you are, featuring the same team you already rely on, informing, empowering, and connecting you to your community. Download the Spectrum News app, available on the App Store and Google Play. Spectrum News, your community connection, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Dear Ohio, I'm writing to tell you about a new podcast, and we're dedicating it to you. Few states encompass everything our nation is about, and this podcast is the place to explore your significant role in shaping America. Each week, we'll dissect challenging issues through your eyes, with the hope these conversations inform and empower our communities.
Dear Ohio with Curtis Jackson. New episodes every Wednesday.
Halftime in Avon, the Shoremen and Eagles at the break, and we'll take you back to Joe Furman Stadium in just a bit. But first, let's get a look at some of the stories making headlines across Ohio. COVID-19 cases are surging in the Buckeye State. The state health department reporting 9,019 new cases Friday. It's the first time that number has surpassed 9,000 since January 8th. Of the 23,315 Ohioans hospitalized this year, more than 97% of them were not fully vaccinated against COVID. There are also more than 3,200 Ohioans currently hospitalized from the virus, and the state is reporting 134 new deaths. Moderna is working on creating one vaccine that fights both coronavirus and the flu. The pharmaceutical company announcing it's developing a potential 2-in-1 booster shot. The company reportedly hopes to have the single-dose vaccine ready and available by the fall. Moderna also submitting its COVID-19 booster shot for FDA approval this month. The shot would be administered 6 months after a patient receives the second dose of its vaccine. As of right now, Moderna's vaccine currently only has emergency use authorization. The White House COVID-19 response team is reacting to criticism of the president's new measures for curbing the spread of the Delta variant. President Biden is asking the Labor Department to require businesses with more than 100 employees to mandate vaccinations or weekly COVID tests. That has prompted accusations by Republicans that Biden is overreaching his authority, and some are threatening legal action.
From day one, the president has been clear that COVID, the pandemic, is a public health issue, not a political issue, and that's how it's been addressed. And the president has been clear that he will not hesitate to take strong actions like he did yesterday to protect workers and the American people and accelerate our path out of this pandemic.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says his state was already moving to stop what he called the president's quote-unquote power grab. And the Republican National Committee has promised to sue the Biden administration as soon as the requirements go into effect. Governor Mike DeWine also taking to social media to criticize the president's new policies, arguing they politicize the vaccination process. On Friday, DeWine tweeted, quote, "I think the president made a mistake by announcing federal vaccine mandates. We should be focused on the science of preventing virus spread. The vaccine is our best tool to stop COVID, but people and business owners should make their own decisions about vaccination." Ohio flags will be at half-staff on Saturday. Governor Mike DeWine ordering they be lowered on all public grounds to honor those killed in the September 11th terrorist attacks. The change will be in effect from sunup to sundown. The governor is also asking that all Ohioans observe a moment of silence at 8:46 in the morning of the 11th, which is the time when the first plane struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. We'll get you back to the game in a moment, but first, here's meteorologist Andrew Kozak with a check of the forecast.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on Spectrum News 1 for a little Friday Night Football. I'm meteorologist Andrew Kozak with your halftime weather report. Starting off first with your Saturday morning lows. Temperatures in the 50s along the lakeshore, 58 Mansfield, 58 Findlay, 57 in Toledo. Enjoy it. It may be the last sub-60-degree night that we have, at least for a few days. It's a big warm-up. It's starting to move in. Temperatures will be in the 60s by midnight. Again, 50s early morning with a few more clouds. Now, we have a weak little wind shift line. May spark off a little shower or two. A sprinkle possibly for northwest Ohio. That will be up to around midday. Then we're done. We're looking at temperatures close to 80 in the northeast, mid-80s in the northwest, and we're going to be looking at a pretty steamy start to your Sunday. In fact, many of us don't even get below 70 degrees on Sunday. That's what I'm saying. We've got a pretty warm start to the second half of the weekend. All the more reason to enjoy your Saturday. Temperatures in the 60s to start, 50s really by 7, and then we'll be nearly 80 degrees by about 5. After the game, we'll have a complete look at your 7-day plan. Stay with us here on Spectrum News 1.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm back with your top headlines from around Ohio after the game, but up next, we get you back out to Avon. The Shoremen and the Eagles are at the half. Brendan Gulick and Ryan Cavanaugh rejoin you after the break.
Welcome to the new tomorrow, where it's not enough to do it alone, and working together means going all in. To move forward takes a different kind of technology partner, one who's always in your corner, and who understands that shared goals are the only ones that matter. And providing that kind of partnership is what we're built to do. Spectrum Enterprise.
Ready?
My mom was my best friend, so when I found out she'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, it was one of the toughest moments of my life. Before she died, she gave me as much advice as she could. The most important thing she said was to always be my own best friend. That's why I'm standing here today with my mom in spirit to advocate and fight back against pancreatic cancer. Because when we do that, we give those fighting today a chance at a life that my mom didn't have. Join me in donating at pancan.org.
Every morning, the people of Ohio have the opportunity to wake up and start fresh.
We want to be a different kind of news channel, putting storytelling and community first.
Well, it's really humbling to be invited to our neighbors' homes and help them plan their day.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Spectrum News 1. I'm Sophia Constantine.
Your morning on Spectrum News 1. Weekdays 5 to noon, exclusively on Spectrum.
I really enjoyed the entire process of storytelling. Every day is another day in history, and I get a front row seat, and it's a big honor and something I care about. From the things that we do in the studio to what we do in the field, everybody has a story to tell here in Ohio, and it's my goal to be able to tell as many of those stories and meet as many of those people and share in their experiences and learn from them. Good evening, and thanks for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Chuck Ringwalt.
You're watching golf videos now.
Oh, in fact, I am, yeah, because I switched to Spectrum Mobile, so I get 5G nationwide, including here.
You think a golf video is going to help with what you're doing?
Oh, no, it's not just a video. I saved a bunch of money when I switched, so I hired a swing coach. Say hi to Brett.
Hey. Well, you tell Brett you just shot a 12 on the last hole.
Who's counting?
Everybody. That's the whole point of golf. Counting.
Brett did tell me that.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile and save, and get 5G nationwide included in every plan. It's a better way to mobile. It's Spectrum Mobile.
This is a message from the Secret Service.
SMS texting, also known as smishing, is a tactic used to steal financial information, elicit funds, or install malware on smartphones. To protect yourself, never respond to a text or click a link from an unknown source. Never share personal or financial information. Delete text messages from unknown sources. The government will never solicit personal information via text. To learn more, visit us online. From all of us at the Secret Service, be vigilant and stay safe.
On behalf of the Spectrum and the Ohio High School Athletic Association, I'm pleased to recognize Liz White and Dylan Zeman from Avon High School as our Spectrum Scholar Athletes, which includes $500 scholarship award. Congratulations on your hard work on and off the field.
Weather can be beautiful, inconvenient, and at times powerful. And it affects everything we do. At Spectrum News 1, our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. We're the calm in the storm. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum. And get your weather anytime on the new Spectrum News app.
Report for America is a national service organization that places emerging journalists in communities around the country. There's a real need for fact-based, accurate reporting today. Spectrum News 1 and Report for America saw the importance of having someone to focus on public health. And as one of the dedicated journalists for the new Spectrum News app, I'm very excited to cover this issue for the people of Ohio. I'm Pete Grieve, Report for America digital journalist, Spectrum News 1 and the Spectrum News app.
Real people are finding real savings with Spectrum Mobile.
I switched because we wanted great service for less money.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $650 a year.
We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
Use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator to find out how much you could save. Then get our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Call 844-230-8821.
Well, the idea that we can mix and match plans is great. This way we can adjust the plan to what our needs are at the moment.
These guys are unlimited, I'm by the gig, and I've got more money in my wallet.
Get the flexibility you want with the savings you need, all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts. Call 844-230-8821.
We're paying a lot less and getting a whole lot more.
I'm wondering why I didn't switch to Spectrum Mobile a lot sooner than what I actually did.
Get Spectrum Mobile with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Visit a Spectrum store, go to spectrummobile.com, or call 844-230-8821.
I am what child hunger looks like in America. I am a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites me to a sleepover so I can have dinner. I am a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks during lunch, so my friends won't know I don't have anything to eat. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Spectrum News 1, a new kind of news channel dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the Buckeye State. With your local forecast every 10 minutes and all of the essential news you need 24/7. Plus, in-depth shows and exclusives focused on your community. Always Ohio, always refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Well, what a first half this has been between the Avon Eagles and the Avon Lake Shoremen. Alongside Ryan Cavanaugh, I'm Brendan Gulick. This first half has left us with some wild highlights, some head-scratching plays, some unsuspected drama, and some very predictable things. The kickers. Who would have thought?
Man, we've got a 45-yard field goal, a 50-yard field goal, and if it was possible, and it meaning any sort of wacky play, if it was possible in the first half, we got just about all of them in.
And isn't it kind of funny how in high school football, man, you know, sometimes the kicking game is the least reliable thing, and for these two sides, it's like, yeah, if we get inside the 40, we got a shot.
Right, and you know what? It changes the game. I feel like we're doing a college game in that aspect, where you know, the concept of we're in field goal range actually applies. It's not we're in the red zone, we're in field goal range. You get on the other side of the 40-yard line and you're in field goal range.
It's definitely a fun chess match. Let's look at some of these highlights from the first half where Avon got off to a really impressive start right out of the gate. It only took a few plays on the opening drive before Caffey took this one in for 6.
Yeah, and at this point, and then this was followed up by a 50-yard field goal by Nathaniel Bakos. We thought the route might be on, but Jake DePaul, quarterback, gets it up to his playmaker, Matthew Stewie, 37-yard touchdown. And then this is where some crazy stuff happened. Avon, the ensuing kickoff, maybe stripped, maybe drops it. Anyway, at the bottom of that scrum, Santiago comes away with the football, and then Jake Paul comes back to Stewie. A catch down to the 2-yard line, and then Jake DePaul, the touchdown vultured by the quarterback as he gets the push, gets in. That put Avon Lake ahead, and then we get a block punt and picked up by Pearden Pepe for Avon Lake. Block punt, touchdown. And then Avon, Pearden Pepe again in coverage. Take a look at this interception. In between the knees, interception. That turns into the 2-minute offense, and Jake DePaul, normally the backup quarterback, more of a runner, finds Matthew Stewie again, this time for 32 yards, and sets him up for this. Another touchdown, the second of the game, the 5th of the season for Matthew Stewie. He's putting on a performance. First half alone, 5 catches, 110 yards, and 2 touches for Matthew Stewie, and Avon Lake is up 30-10 at the half.
I mean, Ryan, are we doing enough justice to this storyline? The backup quarterback who had 9 catches in week 1 as a wide receiver is thrust into being the backup quarterback, so it not only changes that position, but also one of your top targets is no longer available. He's come in and he's hung 30 on the board on his arch rival across town who haven't beaten in 3 years.
And there you see 136 yards passing. That's on 6 of 7 passing. Granted, give the credit to Matthew Stewie. This is the number here that stands out to me on the right. -1 yards passing for an Avon football team. It's not Avon like they're 2 of 6 passing, 100 yards rushing. The majority of that, 75 of that was on that first drive. Their offense, since that opening drive, which was all Ja'Cory and Caffey, has been non-existent.
I mean, 24 yards of offense since the opening drive. It's been so unlike what we're used to seeing from the Avon Eagles, and yet you know that somewhere deep down in, they've got the ability to come back and put up 30 points of their own in a half. So if you're Avon Lake, you can't necessarily just go to sleep and try to nurse this lead. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, the Avon Lake Shoremen are going to try to get across the finish line in what promises to be at least an exciting second half of football. Avon and Avon Lake returns after this timeout on Spectrum News 1.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save up to 40% on your monthly mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator. And in 3 easy steps, you'll instantly see how much money you could save by switching to Spectrum Mobile. See for yourself. Visit spectrummobile.com/save today.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It doesn't feel like a job to me. Journalism is my passion. I started out as an actress and singer, which is the typical way to get into broadcasting. Whether it's journalism, singing, acting, writing, it's all about storytelling. I guess I fell in love with news because it's the real story of us. It's the real story of community. I'm Mary Lee Melendez, anchor reporter, Spectrum News 1.
Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
Spectrum Mobile is a better way to mobile. Customers who've tried the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator and switched see significant monthly savings. In 3 easy steps, the calculator will show you which plans best fit your data needs and how much you'll save by switching. By mixing and matching our By the Gig and Unlimited plans, you'll only be paying for the data you use. And every plan includes nationwide 5G. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today at spectrummobile.com/save.
He's the one who noticed his mom's face was swollen. They're the ones she confided in about her change in vision and headache that wouldn't go away. He's the one who really listened when she said that something just didn't feel right. Too many women die from pregnancy-related complications each year in the U.S. It doesn't have to be that way. Most deaths are preventable. Know the warning signs. Hear her concerns.
Pretty impressive turnaround for the Avon Lake Shoremen in the second half. Or I should say in that second quarter. We are getting ready to start the second half. After trailing 10-0, 30 unanswered points. And they'll start the second half receiving the kickoff. Avon Lake hasn't beaten Avon in their last 4 tries, which included not 1 but 2 matchups last year. In fact, 2 matchups each of the past 2 years. They've met in the regional final. Lots of playoff appearances, lots of deep playoff runs on both sides, but Avon has been the ultimate nemesis for the Avon Lake Shoremen. The touchback, and the Shoremen will start at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 here in just a moment. Ryan, since Avon Lake has the football first, we'll put our focus there. They've obviously got all the momentum in the world right now. Could halftime have been the only thing that slowed them down?
I guess so. I mean, you know, one thing that I may have expected if I'm nitpicking is the rushing. They only have 44 yards on the ground, which is a little bit surprising to me. It feels like they had more, but they've begun to get stronger on both sides at the line of scrimmage, so we'll see if they continue to try and run the football, and they do right off the rip.
Rokowski cuts it back. He runs into several Eagle defenders for a gain of maybe 3 yards. Call it 2nd down and 7.
You know what I think Avon was doing so impressively and effectively at the beginning of that first half was blitzing the run. So normally when you think of a blitz, you're thinking it's on 3rd down, it's on 2nd and long, and you think they're going to pass. But Avon was blitzing on 1st and 2nd down when they were pretty sure they were going to run. And then that didn't allow Krukowski or DePaul to get loose. And then put it into 3rd and long passing downs, which is not where Avon Lake wants to be.
On 2nd and 7 here, DePaul keeps it himself. He's got a 1st down. Good gutsy play there by maybe the best athlete on this Shoreman team.
Yeah, and that time they did. I mean, they blitzed the run. They just tackled Krukowski. Take a look at the pressure. Look at it. It's all coming up, and they all go towards Krukowski. Great ball fake by Jake DePaul. Look, he probably is the best athlete on this team. Stewie is the most acrobatic receiver on the team. He's been able to pull off some pretty impressive circus catches, but the versatility and the number of things Jake DePaul can do, he's quietly been a real standout in this first half, or second half rather, first half of the game.
DePaul on the same play, keeps it and finds a seam. Good run on 1st down, he picks up 7. Ahead to the 40-yard line, 2nd and 3 coming. Good plays on 1st down, always going to help you move the ball.
Yeah, he's just so good at the zone read. And the defense is collapsing on the running back, and that's allowing him to get to the outside. Remember, this is a step-in quarterback. This is not his normal position. As you said, 9 catches in week 1. 12 catches in week 1, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, averages 8 yards a catch, and now he's playing quarterback and just tearing it up. What an athlete. But the ball fakes, that's not something you just, wake up and you learn how to do.
This time he hands it off. Minimal gain of maybe a yard.
And Blodgett says the ball's down.
Well, the referee on the near side is giving no indication of a turnover, although you're right, Jackson Blodgett was kind of pointing and saying, hey, wait a second, that's our football.
And they're bringing Blodgett off the edge again. I really like that. They're going to have to do something. Let's see where the football comes out. Well, they might have ruled him down. Oh, he's down.
Okay, so it's 3rd down and 2. And now it becomes who wants it more at the line of scrimmage. Well, the Avon Eagles needed a big 3rd down stand, and they get it. For the first time in quite a while, the home stands come to life to support the home team.
Yeah, there's Jackson Blodgett again. That second wave came through to shut down that run. And that is exactly what the Avon Eagles needed. I think you just bring up a very good point. We are sitting, obviously, in the home press box on the home side, and we haven't heard much in the last hour.
A couple guys back deep, Ethan Holbrook and Evan Garcia. This was hit toward Garcia, who spun around a little bit, but makes the fair catch. And Avon Lake comes back out there defensively. All right, we addressed it from the Avon Lake side. Offensively, now that Avon got the football back, might have lost a couple minutes time of possession, but the defense did its job. They've got some work to do. Not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination. What do you want to see from the Eagles here out of the gate in the second half?
Well, they're 2 of 6 with negative 1 yard passing. What I want to see is them throw on 1st down. They've got to mix it up a little bit. They've got to be less predictable, and they have to help their quarterback out to call some passing plays when the defense may not be expecting it.
Take a page out of Ryan Kavanaugh's playbook, and they run a draw. It's a modest gain. Good 1st down play.
Well, look, if you're going to get 7 yards on the draw, then I would run the draw. But you know what I'm saying, though, Brendan?
Sure,
like, I want to see them. They've got to do something different. And right now, when they do elect to call passing plays, Avon Lake knows it, you know it, I know it, and it's making it more difficult for Sam DiTilio to get into a rhythm and a groove. And there's a bootleg. Nope, gave it.
Caffey with a stiff arm all the way up to the 40-yard line. A gain of 14 and an Eagles 1st down.
Caffey's only a sophomore. He's only going to get better, but you can see the tools, the elusiveness. Watch his ability to adjust his body and his hips to get skinny and avoid people. And there's that strength there. Once he starts growing a little bit, that stiff arm, you put it on the helmet and you push him down. It's not going to slip off of him, and then he's off the sideline to Pater. Set it, Pater. Look at Caffey. Talk about strength. He heard me, and he's like, I'll show you just how strong I am, as he breaks several tackles, works his way up for what was going to be a negative gain into a positive one.
Muscles his way ahead. He actually picks up 2 yards there. 2nd down. You know what? Picks up 3 yards and put him all the way to 43. 2nd down and 7. Tip of the cap there to Mr. Caffey.
Yeah, Kyle Kress came up from the free safety spot to help bring Caffey down.
Motion man for Avon is Chase Myers. Time to pass for DiTilio. He's looking down the seam. Wide open, in stride a catch. Tim Conwell, who scored 3 touchdowns in the first half against Glenville last week with a huge reception. He's down at the 2.
They've got to get their playmakers involved. Tim Conwell is one of them. Comes in just shy of 200 yards on the season, 17 catches, and you can see why. He's a dynamic wide receiver. That's a very difficult catch, looking over his shoulder. And DiTilio, this is the sort of pass that will give him confidence. There's a defender draped on Conwell, and he's able to bring it in, steps out of the tackle. Excellent individual effort after the catch for Conwell.
Kress, the touchdown saving stop, if only for a moment. DiTilio taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Nilson Connor and Jamie Herron both there. I have a hunch that somebody missed an assignment somewhere along the way for the Eagles, because DiTilio kind of looked around saying, hey, I wasn't supposed to keep that.
No. I've been there, and it's not a good place, especially if you don't have, like Jake DePaul. It's probably like, well, no big deal. I'll just do what I do. You know, I'll just do my Mike Vick impression and make something happen. But if you don't have that in your bag, you're just kind of out to dry.
Mike Elder calls timeout.
Avon looks a little bit out of sorts. You hate to see that. You've got momentum. You're stringing together positive plays, and then a miscommunication, and then not getting the play in and having to burn a timeout in a game like this. You can't afford to throw. Timeouts are currency. You just threw some money away.
5:58 left in this third quarter. Apparently the bank of Avon Lake collecting that timeout. Hey, look, if you're Avon, considering you're chasing the game, you're more than halfway through the third. You really can't afford, when you're down 3 touchdowns, not to get a touchdown. So there is also an element of, okay, you've got 3 timeouts, use it, because there is no other option for the Eagles right now. They have to get in.
This is 4-down territory. I mean, I understand that it's, you know, there's a 6 there. You could use 2 field goals, but you still need 3 scores if you accept a field goal in this spot. You got to make it a 2-score game, especially at the pace that Avon can run. Remember, Avon's they're not stopping the clock. Avon Lake, rather.
Extra offensive lineman in. Amin Abdul is lining up at tight end, but he is an offensive lineman by nature. He's left of the left tackle. They are loading that side of the line. DiTilio got stopped. Initially tripped up by Sam Fetters and then finished off. Well done, Matt Banks. Now it's a little bit more manageable perhaps at the 6-yard line. DiTilio didn't really have too much going on there. 3rd and goal coming from the 6.
And Ja'Corian Caffey just missed his guy on the edge. That's a sophomore. He's going to grow from that. I'll tell you who did not miss his man. Amin Abdul. He absolutely collapsed the left end and created a pathway. He's off. They bring in another receiver now. Looks like 4 wides with a running back next to DiTilio. Got him, Caffey.
Wide open. Boy, Caffey was on an island after he slipped out of the backfield. And the Eagles with some life in the third quarter on the 6-yard touchdown pass.
This is exactly what they needed. They got to stop. They drive down. They get a touchdown. It's a 2-score game.
Baco's on for the extra point. And we cut it to 13. Bingo. Well, Avon did what they needed. They got to stop. Then they take the football and go down the field. Get 7 points on that little flare. Well executed.
And Sam DiTilio, we've got to give him some credit here. As you saw, there was defenders coming through because Caffey is supposed to pick up one of those guys. When he runs past him, he creates an opening and an option to throw it to, but that means that there's someone free running at Sam DiTilio. So he's just got to be confident, know he's going to take a hit, flip it over top of the defenders, accept the hit, but make sure you get the ball to the receiver. He did all those things. You get a sticker on your helmet. You get an eagle on your helmet for what he just did. If they do that.
You know, we've talked a little bit about these 2 head coaches separately, but maybe not together in their relationship because, look, it's a lot of fun, Ryan, when you're talking about 2 programs that have the familiarity with each other from the player's perspective. Mike Elder has done such a great job at Avon High School for quite a while now, and in many ways, he's been a bit of a mentor to the head coach on the other side in Matt Kostelnik. And I don't think it's any surprise that Avon Lake is suddenly becoming quite a foe, looking just like their crosstown rival.
Yeah, no, there's something in the water in Alliance, Ohio. There's so many coaches in Northeast Ohio, throughout the state, and in the college ranks from Mount Union, as both of these guys are. And as you mentioned, this relationship, Coach Kostelnik this week said, other than on Friday nights when we play, our relationship's great. Lines of communication almost open, and in fact, Coach Elder almost hired him on his staff. And only half joking, quarter joking, Coach Kostelnik said, I think my interview the next day with Avon is what got me the job here. Not that I'm an alumni, not that I was a state champion in 2004. He said, I think when they found out I was going there, they decided to hire me. And again, maybe mostly joking.
Maybe.
Good cut pressure.
Oh.
And there's Blodgett again.
Ball is in some trouble. That pocket collapsed very quickly. Maybe the tides are turning just a little bit here. Avon off to a pretty good start in this third quarter.
Yeah, but look at Blodgett off the bottom of your screen here. He comes, and then once that happens, it opens everything else up. You also had Drenick in there as well, and Graham McDougal. So, look, Avon has got to stop sitting back and accepting what's happening. You know, if Avon wants to get back in this game, they got to get back to their own identity. That's that tenacious defense that's getting after the quarterback and playing downhill.
Haven't seen too much of Randy Moss. I mean, Matthew Stewie here in the second half. Got to find 84 on the field somewhere. He had himself quite an opening half. Flag might bring this one back after the tackle across the 25-yard line. But you might notice on replay, much better job by Avon, not losing track of Jake DePaul there.
Yep.
It's a holding call against the Shoremen, though.
But look at the fake. Look at the defenders tackling DePaul, which is good. And that's what you were speaking to. Even if he's going to fake, if he's going to do that, you've got to tackle him. You've got to hit him. Because Jake DePaul, the legs of Jake DePaul is what's hurting Avon. It's not Jason Krukowski or anybody else running the football. Your priority is the quarterback, Jake DePaul. And now they've got DePaul in a situation he doesn't want to be in. This is second and long. And when I say long, I mean it's really long.
Second and 23 from their own 9-yard line. Quick pass to the left-hand side. Maybe something cooking here for Nathan Schillinger. All the way out of bounds near the 30. Wow. Avon's coaching staff not happy with the result of the play. Avon Lake not happy that there was no late hit out of bounds.
Look at the blocking on the end. I think this is Dylan Welsh, number 11. There's a block, and they're probably asking for a block in the back. The defender may have turned. Everybody's upset with that. Everybody's upset with the result. There's a lot going on the field, both sides.
But after looking at the replay, I think that's probably a good no call.
I just thought it was a dramatic ending to the play, but I didn't think it was anything.
It wasn't egregious.
Dirty. It wasn't out of bounds.
No, his momentum was taking him there, but I don't know, when you stumble and you roll, and I guess I could see it.
Bodies are flying.
Third down and 1 after the gain of 22.
Oh, they didn't get it. In fact, I think they lost yards. That's the second time that defensive front of Avon has stood up. Amin Abdul, big surprise there. He's at the bottom. Graham McDougal.
Luke Hamilton, too.
And there's a helmet off.
There's the signal for fourth down. No gain on the play. Fourth down and 1 from the 30.
This reminds me of college when a play like that would happen. London Fletcher from John Carroll would start walking towards the other team's bench yelling, punt team, punt team, punt team, every time. And he'd be kicking his leg in the air. And the coach is trying to figure out what he wants to do. And he's got this maniac yelling at him to punt the football. It was just true story.
Timeout, Avon Lake.
Unbridled enthusiasm, and that's what you're starting to see a little bit. You know, Avon, it's just so interesting, right? Especially when you're looking at high school, how momentum can swing. And Avon looked so flat in the first half, and now they've got all the momentum.
Well, there's an element of it becomes so much easier to win a game if you score defensively or on special teams. And Avon, obviously having given up a special teams touchdown on the blocked punt, has put themselves behind the 8 ball. But there's still 3 minutes left in this third quarter. You're down 2 touchdowns. If you get a stop here, you're way into your opponent's territory. Even if Avon Lake chooses to punt, you get the ball back. Avon has done their job, and they're right back in this. So this right now might be the most critical play of the game.
Number 99, Owen Wiley's not out on the field, and they're under center. I think they may sneak it with DePaul and use the running backs to push him again, that they did on the goal line for the touchdown. And there it is.
Rugby scrum, is it enough? Both teams think that they've got their own result. Referee stopped play. It appears to be a first down, but I've not yet seen the signal. And there it comes. First down, Shoremen.
You know, what do you do there? Like, again, they're pushing the quarterback, and it's just who can get more leg drive. And I believe if you're Avon, you take a defensive tackle. I know McDougal's one of your bigger, stronger guys, but you've got to submarine the center. You need to create a pile so the quarterback, because now when everybody's upright, it's just who's going to push the furthest. But if you can submarine the center and create a pile, there's no traction going on.
First down and 10, a physics lesson here this evening. You never know what you're going to get. It makes perfect sense. High snap,
there's
well
Blodgett.
handled, and how about Blodgett? This kid is having an unbelievable start to the second half. He's been in on almost every single play.
He's been outstanding, and I love him coming off the edge. And Avon Lake has not gone to the play action, but that's the type of situation. If you have a tight end to that side, or you throw a screen to that side, because Blodgett is not paying attention to anything other than crashing into the backfield as fast and as violently as possible to wreak havoc on whatever play Avon Lake has designed.
Second down and 1.
I don't think these two teams would have it any other way. The backyard brawl.
3 seconds on the play clock, they get it off.
Oh, and
DePaul keeps it, avoids one tackle, and makes something out of nothing. He turned a negative play into a gain of 8. Good effort there by, again, the backup quarterback, Jake DePaul, who is filling in so admirably and trying to pull off such a difficult feat on the road here.
And they almost had him in the backfield. They just couldn't bring him in. That's Hodges, number 39, the outside linebacker, who all Jake DePaul needs is you to take one step inside and give him a step.
There's a flag way behind the play. A personal foul on Avon. 15 yards and an automatic first down.
Well, it looked like that one was closer to a hit out of bounds than the previous one.
Flag came from the back judge. Mike Elder was giving the near sideline judge an earful.
Well, listen, Coach Elder's working the officials on this sideline, and everybody on Avon Lake is working the officials over there. There's been 2 close out-of-bounds hits, both on Avon Lake sidelines.
The Shoremen on 1st and 10, out of a fancy formation. Isaac Dotson the carry. He'll pick up 8 yards down to 37-yard line. Actually 7 yards. 2nd and 3 from the 37 coming up.
And that's only Dotson's second carry of the game, but both of those have been good gains in that 7 to 8 yard range. Element of surprise a little bit when they give it to Isaac Dotson. I called it the backyard brawl. There actually is a trophy. It's the battle for the Silver Rail trophy that's at stake here.
There are some good games around Northeast Ohio tonight, but I'm not sure there's a better one than this one.
No.
Take the scoreboard out of it, but even with the scoreboard, it's a good game. Kurkowski rumbles his way down inside the 30. He picked up nearly 10, but plenty for a first down.
Nice piece of blocking on the right edge by Lubertozzi and Brady Schildwalker.
Avon Lake's coaching staff, including their head coach, Matt Kostelnik, told us when we asked him earlier this week what kind of potential college offers might come for his kids. He said, well, for a lot of them, it's still pretty early in the process, but a couple of offensive linemen that may have a chance to potentially play at the next level. Both of those names just mentioned fit that mold. 3 quarters in the books. Not sure who's the better team so far tonight. The scoreboard would indicate Avon Lake, but Avon has a sneaky feeling of hanging around, and you know what they're capable of if you give them a chance. The Shoremen have to step on the Eagles' throats on this drive. We're headed to the 4th. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment on Spectrum News 1.
Dear Ohio, I'm writing to tell you about a new podcast, and we're dedicating it to you. Few states encompass everything our nation is about, and this podcast is the place to explore your significant role in shaping America. Each week, we'll dissect challenging issues through your eyes, with the hope these conversations inform and empower our communities.
Dear Ohio with Curtis Jackson. New episodes every Wednesday.
Report for America is a national service organization that places emerging journalists in communities around the country. There's a real need for fact-based, accurate reporting today. Spectrum News 1 and Report for America saw the importance of having someone to focus on public health. And as one of the dedicated journalists for the new Spectrum News app, I'm very excited to cover this issue for the people of Ohio. I'm Pete Grieve, Report for America digital journalist, Spectrum News 1 and the Spectrum News app.
This one device is going to change everything. Gaming, entertainment, streaming, health, business. It will literally change how you experience the world. Welcome to the future. What?
Without the right connection, you've got nothing.
And now give you the future. No, I don't. Maybe the future's over here. Here we go. Nope.
That's why Spectrum Mobile delivers the most reliable service and nationwide 5G, so you're covered.
We're ready to start the fourth quarter in what feels like a bit of a Royal Rumble, doesn't it? The Avon Lake Shoremen 30, Avon 17 in a third quarter that was largely controlled by the home Eagles. But right now, Avon is backpedaling defensively with the Shoremen on the move. 1st and 10 from Avon's 28. First play from scrimmage of the quarter is a -1, 2-yard loss. As Krakowski couldn't get moving over the right-hand side, sets up 2nd down and 12. Ryan, obviously we've documented a few different times the struggles that Avon Lake has had in trying to overcome beating Avon. They've lost twice to Avon in each of the last 2 seasons, regular season and playoffs. The last time Avon Lake prevailed over their neighboring Eagles was September 7th, 2018. 31-28 the final in that game. You get the feel that it's going to take a full fourth quarter effort for the Shoremen here too. Paul slips one down to a tight end. Nathan Schillinger coming across, no gain. 3rd down and long coming. And a flag down.
And the way Avon Lake's responding, it looks like it's going to be against Avon.
That's twice. Dead ball, personal foul. It's on the junior safety, Cam Santee. And with the spot of the foul, it's a half the distance to the goal penalty. At least I think it is. No, you know what? They put it to the 16-yard line. I beg your pardon. Must have happened on the 31. 1st down and 10 from the 16 as the Shoremen get into the red zone.
That's a nice play defensively.
Nowhere for Fetters to go. Tackle made by Trevor Norman.
Again, one of these linebackers making an impact, and nice job creating the defensive line occupying the offensive lineman, creating a seam for Trevor Norman. But in a 13-point game, you push it out to 16, it stays as a 2-possession game, but assuming, looking forward to the field goal if they're able to get it, and now you've got Avon who needs 2 touches and 2 two-point conversions. But that is certainly what Avon needs to do to frankly, to stay in the game. They can't afford a touchdown here.
Stewie wide right, Krakowski in the slot on the right. I think the play clock may have expired there.
Yeah, and so some of the offensive linemen were jumping off because they realized the play clock's about to go.
At what point do you begin to, I don't know if panic's the right word, but if you're an Avon fan, at what point do you look at the clock and go, it's starting to get a little low?
Well, it's sort of happening now because you can't, the clock continues to run and they can't get Avon Lake off the field.
DePaul. It's back inside the 25-yard line. It's not particularly a big gain and sets up third down and pretty long. We'll give them a gain of 2 to the 24.
And, you know, we're talking here and taking for granted how good these kickers are. Owen Wiley for Avon Lake. This is still a 41-yard field goal where they're at.
It's not automatic.
No.
I mean, I know you said it was money in the bank on a 45-yarder.
Easy money, my friend.
Easy money. Sorry. Ryan has eternal faith in the kicking game, which is totally fine and, frankly, quite entertaining.
Just wait till Wiley goes out there. Look at the
The
pressure.
ball to the right-hand side, picking up valuable yardage. There's another flag down, waiting to see where it is, but I think it might be coming back.
Yeah, initial indication is a hold against Avon Lake.
I mean, this is kind of interesting gamesmanship here, right? You're just trying to think about the game within the game. Obviously, Avon Lake's moving the wrong direction here, but they're going to continue to eat up some clock. They do have a long-legged kicker. You know, if you're not going to pick up the first down, I realize 3rd and 34 isn't exactly where you'd like to be, but you could, I mean, the clock is running right now. You could kill another 30, 40 seconds at least.
Yeah, but if you're Avon, you have to do this. Now you've just moved them, I think, out of field goal range. You're looking at a 57-yarder. And if you're Avon Lake, it's like, okay, let's try and get 7 yards here. Let's not do anything crazy. Even an incompletion, you don't want it. You know, and they're going to keep that clock moving.
Rakowski runs up the middle, and it's a fabulous run on 3rd and 34 to move the new line of scrimmage to the 28-yard line. And here comes Owen Wiley.
And this would be another 45-yard field goal.
Wiley's going to have to earn it. He'll be pretty much just left of center between the hashes. But the Avon Lake Shoremen looking for their first points of the second half. Wiley from 45 yards. No good, wide left.
And that got the Avon Eagle faithful up on their feet. Owen Wiley misses a field goal, remains a 13-point lead. And the ball goes out to the 20. That's the good news for the Shoremen, Avon Lake, is after the field goal, it doesn't go back to the 28-yard line. It goes back to the 20. But frankly, they caught a break there with Owen Wiley missing that. Pushed it just left.
They had plenty of leg, but it misfired.
And now the question is, what kind of offense are we going into? Certainly, you've got to start moving faster, your tempo of getting on the ball. But
Tilio takes the snap.
Slide up.
Looking right, decides to use his feet. Steps out of bounds at the 35. Good play, first down, Sam Tilio.
That was a smart play. And see, Brendan, as I was talking through that, watching him, you know, when you feel rushed, you never want to go back. If you're able to watch him slide up, see, your defensive man is pushing the end, your tackle is. So slide up in the pocket, and you're also going in the direction you want to be going towards. Keep your eyes downfield.
Corian Caffey remains in the game at tailback. The 34-yard line. Incomplete, thrown to the left-hand side. Pretty decent coverage from Keegan Ruddick, but the throw is a bit behind the receiver. Clock stops 7:43. That might be the best news for Avon at the moment. They're down 2 scores and can't afford to waste any precious time.
He's trying to get the ball to that man right there. That's Ethan Holbrook, and we've seen flashes on his kick returns of what he could potentially do with the football in his hands. And coming into this game, 4 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. That's a playmaker.
Tilio down the seam. Boy, is he wide open. Caffey cuts to the left. He stays on his feet and he scores. 66 yards.
Unbelievable. And the time and what's on the clock is less of a concern because of Jacorian Caffey, the playmaker, the game breaker. Jake DePaul finds his running back down the middle of the field, steps out of a tackle or two, and another huge play from Avon.
Sam DiTilio with a 66-yard touchdown pass. Caffey with 2 long scores, one with a handoff and one with a long run after the catch. And all of a sudden, with 7.5 minutes to go, the Avon Eagles realize this is far from over.
Take a look at this. Look, he looks off to the left and drops it back over the middle to Caffey, who's coming to the post. Look at the change of direction from Caffey. This is the impressive part right there. Stepping out of that tackle, gets him in the end zone, saves a lot of time, and we have a ball game on our hands.
To me right now, this game's about culture. Avon knows what it's like to be tested, to figure out a way to come back from a deficit and push it and figure out a way to win tight games. Avon Lake has done that a lot, but talk to me a little bit about the challenge of the mental block of not feeling like this game is slipping from you. If you're Avon Lake, how do you reset yourself mentally and say, hey guys, look, we're still up by 6. Don't act like you're losing.
You know, frankly, it comes from 2 places, the coaches and more importantly, the senior leaders on the team. The best football teams, especially in high school, I've ever seen and been a part of are those where your best players are your best leaders. And there's absolutely, these things are going to happen. In every game, there's ebbs and flows, but are your guys, are the rocks that everybody in this respective offensive and defensive huddle that they're leaning on, what do they see when they look through the face mask? When you look at your quarterback and he's like, of course, this is what we wanted, baby. We came for a dance. We got invited to the ball, and here we are. Of course they're going to throw punches. That's what if you have that attitude and you expect it, and you say, we're in this. That's where I think that confidence and not having, because frankly, you make a good point. How could you not feel like the game's slipping away? It is slipping away. Or are you able to steady the ship and say, this is exactly what we expected and what we wanted? Neither of these teams expect the other team to make it easy for them.
Jake DePaul had pretty good poise and demeanor in that huddle. I liked his body language. He keeps the ball on the first play of the drive, and while he only picks up a yard, Avon is fired up about the big defensive play, but the impression that DePaul is not going to panic yet. If you're just catching up, it was 10-0 Avon after they scored a few plays into the game, got the ball back, and kicked a long field goal. They led 10-0. Then they gave up 30 consecutive points on 4 touchdowns and a field goal. But in the second half, Avon has scored not once but twice, most recently on that long pass to Caffey. Now the Eagles have all the momentum with just under 7 minutes to play. 2nd down and 9. This is Krakowski with absolutely nowhere to go. Avon can feel it. Tim Conwell making plays on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
And this might have been the first play, if this is truly a read, because sometimes it's indistinguishable from up here, that he should have kept it. Look at the number of jerseys. You got Blodgett there, Tim Conwell, as you pointed out, coming up to make the play. And that crowd that I said we didn't hear in the first half, well, it showed up tonight, and it's making noise. You can hear them now. Take a look at that student section. It's a blackout in Avon, but they are bringing the noise.
Timeout, Shoremen. Avon Lake leads it 30-24. But the Eagles are playing like they are a good 2 touchdowns ahead. Can they generate enough of this defensive stand to get the ball back, make Avon Lake pay for it? Take me inside that Avon Lake huddle right now. What do you have to say as a coach to your kids to keep them mentally sharp? We talk about the senior leadership part about it. What about from the coaching staff, though?
Yeah, well, look, it's Coach Kostelnik's job, number 1, to keep his composure, because there's no way he can't be fired up. Number 2, it's task You got to stay on your task. You got to block your man. You got to give me everything that you have. Mentally, for your skill position guys, it's time to make a play. I mean, it's time to make a play. Your backs are up against the goal line. This is hostile territory. Doesn't get any more hostile than what Avon Lake's going through right now. 3rd and 12.
They need the 30 for a first down. DePaul lets it fly. He's got it. Great play design, great execution, but there's a flag down at the 27. First down reception for Nathan Schillinger. Will it stand?
Not according to the response from Avon, specifically Anthony Drenick.
Offensive pass interference, the call.
That was a dime from Jake DePaul.
Third and long. Inside 6 minutes to go. Clock in the stadium says 5:57. From the new spot on the 9-yard line, it sets up 3rd and 21. That is a back-breaking penalty for the Shoremen. To the right-hand side again, Schillinger, nowhere to go. Big-time tackle. The linebackers are playing great. Tommy Tachek. Beautiful read defensively.
Well, he's all over the tight end. He knew that where the ball was going, and look, that's the way you play. Tachek's 5'8", 170, and he's going up against Schillinger, who's 6'4", 250. You just wait, and then you go low.
How about that form tackle? That's how you teach it.
Beautiful.
Clock is rolling. Avon Lake punting from their own end zone.
That is a beautiful looking punt.
It certainly is. Holbrook from his side of midfield finds a seam. Don't see a flag thrown in, but every Eagle fan wants a horse collar tackle call. He's grabbed up by the shoulder pads. No foul according to the referee, and Avon takes over from the 36-yard line. 6-point game, 5 minutes to play. We promised you drama.
And here's the replay of it. And he has him by the back of the jersey. Now the question is a horse collar the back of the jersey, or do you have to have the shoulder pads?
Just over 5 minutes. DeTilio with a hard count. Caffey. They haven't stopped him all game. Avon Lake stood Caffey up, but did not tackle him at the 31-yard line. Moderate gain on first down. Championship heart and composure and effort from Avon in the second half. If you're watching at home, don't crown the Eagles game winners yet. Avon Lake's defense has been really steady this year. But somebody for the Shoremen's got to step up. A run right up the middle. That time it was Earhart. I think he picked up about 2. So call it 3rd down and 4.
And Earhart.
Actually, a bigger part in 3rd and 3.
Earhart
26.
I'm sorry, Earhart came in with 25 carries, same as Jacory and Caffey, but it's been mostly Caffey here tonight. Change of pace back is Gavin Earhart.
Avon thought maybe they were going to draw the Shoremen into an encroachment foul. They had a couple.
You can feel the intensity coming off this field.
DeTilio cuts it back. He's got the first down.
And that is again, I call him a veteran. He's calm in there. He understood not only to pull it down, but also north and south. He knew where the sticks were. Look at the composure. and then the leg drive.
How many times has this game come down to 3 points or less? Earhart rumbling inside the 20. It's as if the Avon Eagles are intent on making sure Avon Lake doesn't get the football back. Avon has to score a touchdown. Field goal does them no good. But right now, it's been positive play after positive play.
This is the bane of an offensive coordinator when you're calling plays. You need a touchdown, and you don't want to give the other team any time left to work when you do score the touchdown.
Sure.
Remember that currency I talked about? Avon Lake only has one left. In these games, second half, you want to save those timeouts because you never know what's going to happen.
Caffey again. Picks up a few. Now that ball looks like it may have come out.
Oh, Avon Lake,
my goodness, the Shoremen picked it up. Could you possibly come away with a takeaway at a bigger time? Kyle Kress.
And now, the clock that appeared to be a future enemy of Avon Lake is its ally. 2nd and 5. Turnover, Kyle Kress recovers. And now Avon Lake will take over the football at their own 14.5 yard line.
Tough break for Avon. This game's not over yet. Avon has 2 timeouts. If they can continue to play good defense, Avon Lake's offense hasn't come out of the locker room. I mean, they've done nothing here in the second half.
Right, absolutely.
But certainly a much more difficult task. Avon Lake, you talked about it so many times. You need your leaders to make a play, and senior Kyle Kress comes up with potentially a game-saving fumble recovery.
See that right there? The huddle breaks. Jake DePaul fist bumps. Krukowski hits him in the head. They're like, let's go time.
Zigzagging his way to the right-hand side, and Avon calls timeout with 2 minutes and 36 seconds remaining.
And whether they're able to get a stop here is going to, obviously, this is where the game comes down. If you're Avon, that's too many on first down. But they're going to have, you're going to take a timeout on after second down, assuming they don't get the first. And then on third down, you make Avon Lake make a decision, which when it's short yardage, they're going to run it.
This has been as challenging as it could be for Avon Lake. You go down early in the game 10-0. Avon Lake hits a couple of big plays. You could almost argue, Ryan, that Avon's been the better team, that Avon Lake has just capitalized better. The long touchdown to Stewie, the blocked punt that turned into a touchdown, you know, the catch on Stewie's reception at the one that our replays would indicate may not have been a catch, but there's no instant replay in high school football. And DePaul scrambles in the next play. I mean, Avon Lake, they've been put through the ringer. Still have 2:36 to figure it out.
Well, and let's not forget about the fumble on the kick return that gave him a short field, and then the backwards pass that gave him a short field. Avon Lake they've taken possession deep in Avon's territory a number of times.
DePaul keeps it. DePaul finds a seam. He's got a first down. Wisely stays in bounds. The ball came out, but he was going down into a slide. I can't imagine that the officials are going to say that's a fumble.
Oh, the official was right there on top of it, and he immediately pointed to the ground, signaling. But look at Jake DePaul. This is what you want. Just a gamer makes one man miss.
That is a fumble. That is absolutely a fumble. He dropped the football when he was going into a slide. Goodness gracious. Another really lucky break for Avon Lake.
Wow. Stand corrected.
Holy smokes. 2:28 left.
Take another look at this. Let's see when the ball comes out. Well, his knee appears to be down there.
Well, okay. I thought when he was sliding there, I thought that ball started to come away a little bit. It's awfully close. Maybe it was the right call. Maybe I overreacted, but I thought that ball started to come free a little bit.
Yeah, either way, the officials ruled it down. And this unit here, they've used their final timeout, right? Yep, that's their final timeout. So I need somebody that can do some math to tell me what this looks like.
Well, Avon Lake's going to need one more first down. Not enough to just kneel it out here. Shoremen handed off to the right-hand side. That's a great start.
Yeah, and you know, this offensive line, they stepped up exactly when Coach Kostelnik and the Shoremen needed them to. I mean, this group has really done a nice job, and there you again running over that right side with Lou Bertozzi, Brady Schillwalker, Braden Quigley at the center position. They've done a nice job. You see Clay Broadhurst, 52, a sophomore in there for some added beef. So you've got an extra offensive lineman. See where 52 is.
Avon and Avon Lake, so many state playoff appearances.
They got
loss of a couple there. Avon Lake, of course, 3 years in a row, 4 of the last 5. They've made the playoffs, but have not gotten out of the regional final, losing to Avon the last couple seasons. Avon, meanwhile, 4 consecutive state Final Four appearances, losing each time to Archbishop Hoban. Avon themselves, 11 straight years they've been in the OHSAA playoffs. Avon Lake, again, has not beaten Avon since September of 2018. With 3rd and 6 here, they can't just kneel it out. Play clock's at 4. They sweep it to the right-hand side.
Oh, he went down in bounds. Oh, and there's a face mask for I think the flag is down over there. I think they're going to get him with the face mask. And this would end the game. And you're going to watch the Avon Lake sideline over there celebrate when they realize what's happened. And there it is. That's going to be the ball game. Tail end right here, unfortunately. Look at that. Just Austin Mitchell is going to get his face mask just enough, and you see the flag come in here.
Ryan, at the top of the show, we said it's a good time to be an Avon Lake Shoreman. This football program is really moving in the right direction. You would not know it's a Week 4 game by the way that team and those fans are celebrating at the moment, but this one means an awful lot for the Avon Lake community.
Well, you talk back to that 2018 season, the last time that they beat Avon, and Coach Kostelnik, he spoke to that, and he said, look, we lost the last game, we lost in the playoffs, but that whole summer, we were riding high because we had the memory of beating Avon. When you beat Avon, everything changes in your program. And that's what you're seeing. There's Coach Kostelnik right there hugging his senior quarterback, Jake DePaul. You know, I was going to mention earlier, Jeremy Zick, the quarterback who's not there, he's only a junior. There was a good thing that the backup quarterback has that senior leadership in the huddle during these big moments.
Avon Lake, they were shut out in the second half, but their defense does enough. Kyle Kress with the big strip and fumble recovery when Avon was driving at the end of the game, down by 6, all the momentum in the world. Kress comes up with the big play to save the day for the Shoremen, and the offense able to run things out. A game that certainly had a few deficiencies, a few self-inflicted wounds, but it ends with a Shoremen victory. Let's get to tonight's drive of the game, brought to you by Northeast Ohio Honda Dealers. What's your choice?
Well, why don't we go with, well, this is Avon. This is the interception right here by Pepe. And then that interception turned into a couple passes from Jake DePaul to Stewie. This one's up the seam. This is really, really an acrobatic catch. This kid is really something special. And then the touchdown at the front pylon, watch him reach over the fallen defender to bring it in. And that made it 30-10. That was just enough. And when I say just enough to win this football game. Stewie, 2 touchdowns, big time.
Avon Lake undefeated, 4-0, and they're rolling. They've beaten their arch rival, and now they've got a chance to have that kind of season. Maybe could they possibly put together a perfect campaign it's still certainly intact. If you're an Avon Eagle, losing to a team of this caliber does not doom your season. In fact, you never know. These two teams just might see each other again in a couple of months. It has certainly happened the last few years, and if we get another Avon Lake contest later in the season, it would certainly be a treat. But congratulations to Avon Lake. They hold off the Eagles tonight with a 30-24 victory. Hope you'll tune in again next Friday, the OHSAA Game of the Week. It's the Strongsville Mustangs and those very talented Medina Bees, led by quarterback Drew Aller. 7 o'clock kick. It's a Game of the Week, OHSAA, right here on Spectrum News 1, your television home for high school sports. For Ryan Cavanaugh and our entire Spectrum News 1 crew, I'm Brendan Gulick. The Avon Lake Shoremen 30, the Avon Eagles 24. The Shoremen snap a 4-game losing streak with a huge road victory. See you soon, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Spectrum News 1.
Spectrum News 1 is your trusted resource for local, up-to-date news.